You've arrived at the Texas to Tennessee Podcast, your home for your favorite independent artists and a couple of guys you've never heard of.
Who?
It was Texas, it was Tennessee. It was what I had coming to me. You were unlike anything.
Well, heck yeah, we are live, guys. How are you doing? Welcome to the Texas to Tennessee Podcast. How are you tonight?
Good. How you doing?
Great. I am excited. I'm excited to chat with you. This is our first South Carolina. Well, it's my first South Carolina representation, so no pressure or anything, but you're representing for the entire state right now.
Proud to do it.
Heck yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming. We've got, can you I feel like I was going to ask you this off of camera, but I thought it would be better to talk to all of us. Can you give us the true pronunciation of your name?
Yes. Hey, everybody. My name is Vilai Harrington. I'm here in the upstate of South Carolina.
Perfect. So I am really excited to kind of jump in. This you're a mutual friend. If anybody out there is familiar with Brett Hill, or he's like he's kind of behind the weeds in the industry, but he is certainly in the weeds of all the things in the music industry in the Americana world for sure. So thank you to Brett for introducing us.
Yeah.
And we're happy to get to know each other here, and we're going to share a little bit of the stories behind the artists. So Texas to Tennessee, we have kind of a question that we like to start out with as an icebreaker. So it's just tradition, and I'm just going to stick with the tradition around here. So first question is, so as a artist, it inevitably you'll reach that point where you need to become more of a business person as well. So where do you fit into that on your journey, or where you are right now, with a balance of creating art and being an artist, and the music, and then also the business end of the industry and your career path? And then the third piece of that pie kind of has its own slice. They kind of go hand in hand with the business end, but marketing. So that social media side of yourself, the side that everyone gets to see, that doesn't really get to know you yet. Where do you fall as far as where do you feel is home to you, and is it split across? Is it even? Which one's got your heart and all that? I'll leave it up to you.
Well, I think again, it's somebody who goes out and plays and is a singer-songwriter. Like, you do have to wear all those hats. I've been doing this out and writing and playing out for about 12, 13 years now. I feel more and more it's still, even if I'm doing something that might be more marketable, I'm still doing what I enjoy. And as part of the evolution, for me now too, it's still, even though I do want to progress in this industry, it's still at the end of the day about enjoying myself and making what I want to make. And I've been able to do that. Trying to get better on the marketing end of it. I've never been the best with it. My wife's been kind of helping me more with like the social media side of things, because it's not my forte, especially if somebody who has a name that gets misspelled a lot. I also do misspell everything pretty bad too. So she's helping me with that. But really right now for me, it's just making more music, just keeping going, doing what I want to do with it, and throw it at the wall, like spaghetti, see what sticks.
Yeah, that's a lot of what it is. It's such an interesting, it's such an industry for that reason, right? So it's art. So it's so subjective and it's super personal. And really the only way really way to do it is to be super genuine. So it's just such an individual journey that it's hard to even compare or to learn from what other people are doing, because at the end of the day, you really just have to find your way with it, and that's the only way for you to win. But it does make it a little frustrating, huh?
It does. But it's really anything worth it in life is going to take it out of you in some way or another.
For
Um,
sure.
so it's just kind of how it goes, the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, definitely. So you said you're going on year into over a decade
Hmm.
in the music industry. Do you, looking back at the beginning, I feel like that's the hardest part, but it's not the only hard part at all. But do you see the progression in you as an artist from the beginning until now? Is there anything that like really stands out to you when I like ask that question is like, just something maybe bigger or maybe something more meaningful that you definitely think is different now within yourself or within your music that has just come with time?
I think part of it is, along with finding myself, I found my voice. Back then, it was, you know, what had come through my area. I grew up in the Aiken, Augusta area, and like what would come through there a lot. And what I enjoyed, like I grew up enjoying old country and old soul and muddy country and stuff like that. But like the Avett Brothers, things like that. And I tried to find my voice in them, and I tried to go mess with my voice and everything. I think now I've kind of just settled into what I was in the original beginning and a little bit more. Um, Writing, I feel definitely there's been a progression with it. And really just more comfortable myself all in general, just overall, like, I've had ups and downs with a lot of things, like, but at the end of the day, it's actually just enjoying the music and going out there for the right reasons. And feel like I'm starting to find that now, for sure.
Yeah, I think it was well said how you just said that you tried to find your voice in them. And I think that's such a relatable thing, um,
Definitely.
like as a fellow musician, because they're kind of your North Stars, right? The people that really are the bands or artists that influenced you. Um, you inevitably see a part of yourself or a part of your vibe or something in them. And yeah, you just got to kind of track it until it circles back around to truly being authentically you. And that does just take time and doing it. How much of those 10 years were you, or were you ever like a one man band, and how much did you have your partners in crime there, and where do they kind of fit into that timeline, and where does it stand now?
Well, like I've been mostly just me over the years, and people have come and gone. Um, I actually had time to kind of reflect on some of this. This past December, we celebrated my first album, full length album, Growth, which I recorded right after I moved to the upstate of South Carolina here in Greenville. Um, like I kind of just at that time, the people that were in that, I had been in town for like a month, and it was just friends of friends in the studio. But a lot of them became great friends. We ended up playing in different bands together, and over the years, and they've kind of been characters that have stayed around. And there's others that have kind of just traveled through the years, whether they're moving from town to town and everything. And um, also just with the band as well, the original format of kind of what the band is now. Some of the members have come and gone over the years. The Hamptones, because I lived in this music house not too long after I moved into Grayville, on Hampton Avenue, and had multiple generations of artists of all kinds that lived in that house. It was just a rundown duplex right outside of downtown. It got sold to somebody at Bosch now, and it's worth like over $1 million now. The
Dang.
town's changing, but like with music, I think for me as well, like two of the people that especially one that's played with me for years now, was on my first album, Josh Riley, and Robert Gown as well, but definitely Josh. Like we we've been in multiple different projects together. This one that I lead, we also were in a group years ago called My Grandma Whiskey and Me, which is like a progressive bluegrass group ran by George and Kelly Collier. I believe they're in Knoxville now. But just the friendships that we've built from that, I think are great. We live just a couple miles from each other now. Our families are real close, and I wouldn't have had that if it wasn't for doing music together. The outfit now is me and Josh, and then Joe Timbero on drums when we can get them, and same thing with the rest of the guys too. But the main things usually now is we usually have a lead guitarist and Justin Garber, and then Drew Spencer on lap steel.
Nice.
When we can, yeah. So, but it can change by the night. I kind of like keeping a good core, but if any wrench is thrown in it, we can make stuff fluid, whether it be the string band or bringing in other members of the community we have around here or up in Asheville. And I kind of like to keep it that way.
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely takes a village, doesn't it?
It does.
It takes a village of, and I think that's probably one hard, that was a hard lesson for me, maybe with the band stuff is, it was sometimes it feels like bands should just be core members, but the reality is sometimes it doesn't work like that. And honestly, it sometimes works better because you have even more influences. You have more people that care about the music that get introduced into new perspectives. So there's pros and cons to both. But yeah, it's surprising how many bands really do have like a kind of a flexing team.
You kind of have to.
Kind of roll
just
with.
to go with anyone's schedules, especially if people are playing with multiple different acts, or like where we are in life as well. It's like about everybody now has a 9 to 5. Majority of people have kids. It's like you have to be able to work with the schedules. You obviously have your main core and the people that you like try to have out at every single gig, but then you have your auxiliaries with that. But I'm very thankful here. And the Spartanburg and Greenville community here, we do have, like, especially when it comes to lead players, just like anywhere else, you can find lead players all around. But and we got some great ones. I'm not knocking them, and we have a variety of different instruments, which is great. But we also have a lot of really tight rhythm. So I feel like a lot of local scenes, we don't have that. And if I could have Josh and Joe every time, I want to have them, but I have my backups, and then I have hopefully backups on backups as well. But we usually don't get to that point.
Yeah, the well-built village is empowering. It allows you to say yes to things quicker, knowing, because sometimes promoters don't have that, and you could send out that group text of like, hey guys, is everybody available for this? And if you don't get the answers back, you kind of got to just let the promoter know, or whoever you're speaking with. You got to just having that thick village really gives you a better opportunity to just go ahead and say yes, and then figure out the rest of it later when you got a great team behind you and around you. Yeah, that's great. I know you mentioned you're about your community down there in Greenville. I know you said you run like a writer's night. Is that locally in Greenville itself?
It is, yes. It's in going north out of downtown, but in the Cherrydale area at Stray Wheel Estate, which is like my friend's fab shop. It's called Porch Beers. Basically, I selfishly started it. Thank you. I did it just selfishly to try to get two of my friends to meet each other and also hang out with them, because I hadn't seen them in years. And I just randomly asked them if they wanted to do a show at the shop, and then I figured out the name after made it, and the owner kind of told me we should keep doing it, and I thought it was a good idea. So this is, I believe, the 15th one. If I'm wrong, Ryan, I'm sorry, but we have this coming Wednesday. We try to do it the second Wednesday of every month. That doesn't always work with every schedule, but we always do them on Wednesdays because for all the other shows we have in town, it just makes it easier
Yeah.
to not step on anyone else. But when it first started, I would play more, but mostly now I kind of just let the two other guys be on the rounds, and actually I'm able to just host more.
Yeah.
So it's been a lot of fun. It's a great environment. It's just BYOB and BYOC. Bring your own beer, bring your own chair, and it's just a donation based thing. But it's got a good vibe and a good community around it. I'm excited to keep seeing it progress.
Yeah, the village is important, and it really shows. I feel like the people that we end up talking to and that kind of get to a higher level are the ones that are super community oriented. It's not, an accident that a lot of the people you get to hear about, and that are familiar names are people that support each other and support other artists and build up their community. So I'm really glad that sounds like Greenville's got some great representation there for some solid community driven artists. So if you guys are in that area or coming through, you've got a great spot,
Come on up.
great community ready to welcome you over there.
We've had we've had a lot of great collectives over the years that have done a lot of things, and I kind of just want to help carry the torch. And at the end of the day, it's not about like it's kind of just, if I think somebody's good, I want other people to. I like to show people stuff. It's like,
Yeah.
so I try to. I wanted this to be me and Ryan and one of my best buddies, Legend, that created this. We wanted it to be like a way of just getting people in front of some of these people that we've known are great for a while, but we can't get them to just go out and see them.
Right.
But if they know that I'm going to be there, or Legend's going to be there with a 6-pack to share or something, then they'll show up. And it's been building a lot, and I feel like it's introduced a lot of people. I try to mix it with local up and comers and regional acts and people that are just trying to get into the Greenville scene as well. So it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I love that whole situation. Yeah, being the head and being a steward for your community just goes such a long way. Do
I
you
agree.
do you have any I always like, maybe I'm just like a little partial maybe, but I definitely just have, there's just a few venues where when I was getting started, that were just so important to my story and such, not only mine, but they're just like good safe holds for the community. Before you get into the ticketed events and before you get into all these bigger shows, you have to start somewhere. Are there any of those spots that are kind of little honey holes, now that we got you speaking up for South Carolina over there, or even outside of that area, just maybe smaller venues that are good for the community now that we have a little bit of a platform and some folks tuning in that happen to love our genre, that you want to either give a
Absolutely.
shout out to or give honorable mention to some of these venues? I always like to give an opportunity. I feel like those are the ones no one ever talks about. So it's my mission that we bring some awareness to the smaller venues.
I agree. And I mean, those, especially here in South Carolina with what we've been dealing, I don't know if you're familiar, but we've been dealing with a lot of liability laws issues that are kind of hiking up insurance for a lot of our small venues. So a lot of them have not been able to keep on. But where I grew up, it was right next to the Georgia border, and I was actually part of like a small listening room, all ages place down there. Mad Studios was a great room. And Stoney and Leslie are great. And they still put on a lot of local loudness events in Augusta. On top of that, still it's a dive, but it always was so much fun, especially playing. Augusta's a very late night town. Like when I moved up here more into like towards Appalachian, especially here in the Buckle, the Bible Belt, like the shows were a little earlier. But I remember playing about usually starting at 11 at the earliest, usually 1 at the latest at Soul Bar, which was a James Brown themed bar because he's from that area. I know I think he's still doing stuff up there, but even if you are just coming through Augusta for some reason, you should go check out that place. It's a good time. Still Smoky Dive. I think some of the breweries that we have been doing a really good job with stuff in Columbia. I think Steel Hands has done a really good job with keeping local and regional artists coming through. Andy's done a really good job booking there. And then they have the old staples like New Brooklyn Tavern has done great over the years, and the Art Bar, they've always been fun. In Charleston, the Royal American, always have my heart. Great spot. It's on the old train station. And the stage is at the end of the bar. So they have great acts there. Sometimes national acts, sometimes it's just local acts, like, from me to a lot of people that are from Charleston are there. Like, I know Justin from Susto will still do stuff down there. But it's just it's a great vibe, good food, always good there. They have good drinks. And then here in Greenville, the Radio Room has been a staple for a long time. When I first moved here, it was in a cinder block building with no windows, and it was in county limits. And at the time, you could be in club settings. So if you were a member, you could stay open as late as they wanted to. So it was usually after the show ended, you could smoke in there. They'd get pretty intense, and before you know it, it'd be 5 or 6 in the morning. But you never knew what you were going to see in there. Like, I would get off work downtown and then drive up there and be like, oh shit, there's Shovels and Rope, or oh, that's the High Divers, or She Returns for More, or you never knew what it was. And they've built over the years. They've had a couple different iterations to where they're now like a good mid-sized venue. And great sound in there. If you come through Greenville, I'd check their lineup for sure. And then we have a new place in town called Poe Mill Music, which is a studio and a listening room, and they've been putting on some great stuff, and it sounds awesome there.
God, I love a listening room.
Mm-hmm.
I love a listening room. What do you think? What is your if you could build out, if you had a blank slate for like a 12-month span, and you got to build whatever kind of shows you wanted, would you do like a mix of like headliner ticketed shows mixed with festivals, mixed with listening rooms? How much, if they could be, or every festival, all the festivals, like what would your like dream 12 months of shows look like if you could just pick and pull them all together?
I think it would be fun to do some festivals, especially with all the boys, with the band, to kind of burn it down. I'd love to hit like some of the neo honky tonks around, and then I would love to just do a run of just kind of the listening rooms, like kind of like what Eddie Owens has going on with Red Clay and things of that nature. Yeah. Really enjoy those kind of venues. I think having a balance of just a little bit of all are great, because all of them are fun and all of them are stressful in their own ways.
You ain't lying. Yeah, that's true. It's like, it's such an interesting dynamic. They're just so yeah. So they all have their own highlight reel, but also, like you said, the stress and the logistics vary as well. So some you kind of work harder for. But yes, just completely different environments. It's cool to hear that you enjoy bunch of different ones. What do you think?
Yeah, you got to keep it interesting,
Yeah, I feel the same way. They all have their own. Well, you can't say which one's better. You know which one's better. They're all great. They're all great, and for their own reasons. And that's what makes art and creative industries so fun too. Is that there are almost always great options of all kinds of different things you can get yourself into to share your art and different ways to do it. Um, what do you think about like when you play live? We talked about kind of the smaller shows, right, where you come from, the pubs and grubs, if you will, and then up to ticketed shows and into festivals. Is there anything that you feel like you've learned along the way in your decade plus of being in the industry that is like helpful for other people that are starting to play out or getting some stage time? Are there things or maybe hard lessons you've learned along the way when it comes to playing live or things you wish you would have known or understood sooner?
I think a lot of it is one thing that I've had to learn over the years is just leave shit off the stage too.
Mm,
Like
that's good
when,
advice.
yeah, when like whether it's beef with band members, whether it's a fight you had with your partner or anything like that, like you have to learn, which is hard, especially as somebody who, writes about those things. Like it's hard to
Yeah.
um, shed that off, but you need to figure out how to actually just enjoy it. One thing I will suggest, you don't have to do it every time, but I think it's important too. And one thing I had to learn a couple years ago again was um, be comfortable in any environment, just in yourself. Like for me, for the longest time, I had to have at least a beer and a shot before I went on stage. And that could snowball, or if you don't get that and you feel like you have to have that kind of rhythm, no matter what it is, then you're just finding another crutch. Um, Another thing I'm seeing now, and artists that people are sending my way, and I love what they do, but then I look at live videos or I see them and they have their phone or something clipped on the mic stand, even for original songs. Don't ever do that. That is my biggest pet peeve
Fair.
for people, was like, especially even if you just say it's fine, I get it. If you're like, hey, I just wrote this one this morning, I'm not firm on the words, whatever, that's fine. But when you get to where you have to have it for every single song, especially even your original music, that's bad. Like that's another crutch. Like
You're calling
that's
it
like,
out. Calling it out.
it is. It's just and it takes away from the performance. And especially where we are right now in a society, as more and more things are becoming inhuman, that's a way of you making even more distance between you and the people out there. And I know, like, especially still now, I'm playing half the time 3-hour gigs where people could give a hoot. But still, if you are giving a shit, they will give a shit.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's an energy thing, and it's a vibe thing, I guess is another way to say it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's important too. I think it's in every generation they always feel like technology and things are changing, right? This is our version of that right now that we're in is things are changing and we're kind of getting hit right in the face with actual computers, like
Right.
actual
Yeah.
artificial intelligence. Beats like a register that we didn't have to use before. These are, they're coming right for us on this intelligence situation. What are your thoughts on all that? I think I've heard a bunch of different perspectives, and I know inevitably it's gonna be what it's gonna be, right? We can't stop a train; it is coming.
Right.
Do you see it as a tool? Do you see it as something to just stay away from? Do you see it as something that might even give us some benefits down the line? Like when it comes to just AI and music specifically, what's your initial thoughts on all that?
I think it could be a beneficial tool. Um, But just like any other tool that we've had in society, whether it is, especially in music, whether it's social or in entertainment period, whether it's social media, whether it's mailing list or anything like that, it can be abused quickly. And it
Yeah.
already is. And I think, me personally, I try to limit as much, especially how things are already now. You run into AI and about every aspect of life, and I try to not use it. And one of the ways that I can not use it is in my music.
Yeah.
I know some people have used it in as a writing tool and things like that, but um, I I personally am not a fan, especially the environmental impact and what I'm seeing
Yeah.
um, throughout the South as we have these data centers coming in and destroying communities and messing up our water tables. Um, I I don't think the juice is worth the squeeze. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, super fair. It's definitely been a divisive topic. I think technology, like I said, it's every generation goes through this, right? There's
Mhm.
always it's just change is inevitable, and eventually we just learn a new reality and accept it, but we're just facing a whole new wave right now, of it really just being in our faces for sure, and it literally
Yeah.
being our faces. Like I was like watching even just the Super Bowl, some of
Hmm.
the commercials, I was like, I can't tell if they just kind of doctored up these commercials or if this is just straight up AI because it's so close at this point. Like, do you even need to
Yeah.
go there and shoot the commercial, or can you just sign off on your image being used in AI and have them just do it? Like, it's such an interesting thing, to see develop, especially as creative with a creative brain that we're just seeing some writing on the wall, I think.
We definitely are. Um, it's an interesting time, and we never know what can happen with it. Is the bubble going to burst? Is it going to? It's coming either way. I mean, it's here, and
Right.
there's there's always going to be pros and cons to everything.
Yeah.
I knew off the bat too, like the first thing to go is going to be bags of chips. It's going to be it's going to be the pop artist. It's going to be more of the stuff that's popular and can be derived quickly. So like
Yeah.
that's that also that audience is going to be the one that's going to flip instantly with it. They
Yeah.
have no problem. All it is they want to have their bag of chips. They want to have their fodder, and that's okay. If that's what you want, go for it. Enjoy it.
Yeah.
Um, I'm really not trying to sound like pretentious or anything, but I kind of feel that, like, with different audiences, there's people that still want to have that human connection,
Oh, for
and
sure.
instead of just a amalgamation of everything that they want to have that human connection that's with it. So
Yeah.
I think that will still be there. Um, do I think that it's the music industry is going to get any easier from it? No, not at all. It's actually going to get a little bit hard. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's kind of what I've learned to maybe accept. I still don't like the idea of it, but I think what it's coming down to is just, with the evolution of streaming platforms and all kinds of other just, internet based things, um, you can, there is data, which means there are numbers, which is not a creative's best friend, and
right,
um, when you take take a little bit out, and you can really just make a tangible thing. You can't really argue anymore about, kind of back end things, and it comes down to, are you living in today's world or are you not? And it doesn't mean that you have to like today's world, and I think that's where I personally struggle.
right.
uh, and I think some of my colleagues as well is, you know here we are. So what do we do with this? Do we try to, go with the flow of today's world and try to be a positive piece in that and try to be a human aspect? Or do we try to fight for the old ways? What is, I think it's an individual thing, but it is like a daily conversation I have with myself. It seems like.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of every day if something's been thrown at us. And that's always been a thing. I know it's felt like it's expedited for us, but every generation goes through it, just like you said. And I feel like you kind of just have to take every day as it goes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that human aspect is what's gonna keep folks um just me. I think music is kind of, maybe I'm just, I think music is safe when it comes to that because there's just such a human element that is really necessary for that connection. And I think the deeper we get into things being not physically in the room with us, the more you're just going to be really aching for that human feeling. And I think that true artists and true songwriters are just going to be able to do that. I think they're going to be the ones that can connect regardless. Do you think there's any like overarching themes or a way, if people are listening to your music, that they're just going to automatically either know or understand about you or where you come from? Or is it kind of just um, depends on the album, depends on the song, depends on does it kind of jump around, or are there kind of like overarching things where you're like, if you listen to any of my music, you'll understand this about me?
I mean, like I'm kind of in a different phase now where I'm trying to stop talking about my hometown and how I grew up so much because, like, again, there's still a lot to write about there, and I mean, even like the stuff that we were working in the studio with a couple weekends ago, it's still just about that. Uh, I, I think I've made it clear where I grew up and how I grew up. And I think now I'm trying to be more clear on what I believe and the stuff. At least it's just kind of how I write
Yeah.
now. But really, almost everything is kind of just from my perspective. I've written stuff from other people's perspective, not nearly as much. But I don't know if there's really a recurring thing. I'm sure maybe some of my friends could tell you something, but it's just me. I can't. You know.
Yeah. And you do have like quite the extensive catalog out there too. So you've got all kind, and you got different bops to it too. You've got, the upbeat stuff, the downbeat stuff, super folky stuff, the real raw stuff, the clearly very, done studio, just full regalia, if you will, versions. Is there any style that's kind of drawing you in? You mentioned you've been in the studio very recently. What's kind of the next vibe? What's your next stuff out? What kind of vibe are we? Is it acoustic stuff? Is it full band? Um, what can we expect coming up out of you?
There'll be full band stuff coming out, and then like we recorded a live album the night that we did the celebration 10th anniversary
Oh, heck
celebration for
yeah.
my
I love
first
a live
album. So
album.
those will be hopefully we'll be mixing that down soon. What I've heard, it sounds great of it. Um, a lot of this next one is kind of going to be like almost the next phase of life from the last album I released in August. So,
The
um,
next phase of life. Ooh.
so yeah, so I mean, like kind of showing the different side of it. Like Vanfire was kind of one time in life, and I think this next album is going to be kind of a different side. Obviously, they'll be intertwined and kind of labeled, but similar vibes in some ways, but yeah. And it again, Vampire was that album is kind of labeled multiple different aspects, but it'll still be a lot of the same characters in that one as well. In the
Yeah.
next album.
Will you have the Hamptones with you, or is that already part of this project, or to be determined, or not on this one?
Yes, yes. There will be members of the Hamptones in there, and then I kind of just bring in some hired guns for some stuff, kind of people from other bands around here too that I enjoy. But like the core, like the rhythm section, that will be like the normal guys that usually play out there with me. Because just like with Vampire, this will be kind of produced by me and Josh, who plays bass in the Hamptones with me. And yeah, like we actually Vampire we recorded almost completely just at his house down the road from here, and
That's awesome.
yeah, I'm happy with it. It took longer than I wanted it to, just herding of the cats, getting everybody in there, but I'm glad we got it done.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's exciting. Do you have any dates in mind yet for when we might be able to expect that, or any little like nuggets you can leave with us as far as maybe some new songs, or what maybe a theme of a song that will be on that project?
Well, I mean, there's definitely one kind of reference to what we were talking about, like
Mhm.
feeling like you're a in the wrong time, or you feel that life is society is kind of going a different direction with things. I kind of felt that in some ways over the last couple of years, finally getting into my 30s and all that, and then also just kind of well, well, how things are going with the AI and everything like that. Just some poignant laments, I think, on some of them, and then just some explaining family dynamics, some explaining
Yeah.
why you have to stop certain things, and there's. I wish I was better at explaining this stuff to you.
I think it's kind of poetic in its own way, because it's almost like listen to the music, right?
Yeah.
Like, if
But
you
I have
love
plenty
this
out there,
story.
y'all. Yeah, I have plenty out there, and just follow me at VilaiHarrington, and hopefully we'll have some stuff out in the next 2 months. Hopefully, but it could be within the next year.
Yeah.
I don't want to put any exact parameters on it, but we're working hard on some stuff, and we'll definitely have some things out later in the year.
Yeah, I love that. Do you write primarily independently, or do you write with Josh or any other band members, or how does that like how does the songwriting process for you? What does that look like for you?
It just depends. Josh and I've written in the past. Usually that's he comes up with a bass line or a progression and brings it to me. It's like, hey, I like this. And I'm like, I like that. And then we write something. Usually I focus on the lyrics more. And he'll focus on the build-ups. With the other members, lots of times it'll be I have a song written lyrically, most of the melody, and they'll still help with the fine tuning of the structure,
Yeah.
like getting their own flavor in there. Writing wise, like for me, it kind of will be I'll be messing around with one progression forever and driving my wife insane. So then I'll leave it alone, and then I'll be at the day job, weed eating or mowing, and then I realize, what I wanted to write about with it. The other ones, like I've tried to lately, I've been trying to just put something on paper every day, whether it's a couple lines or something like that, And it's kind of been fun lately because I'll go through my phone and look through notes, and I'll see like a lot of like random one-liners. And I'm like, oh, those are good. And then I sometimes will be able to build a song off of that.
Yeah. Yeah, so it sounds like it kind of varies then. I think that's relatable too, for sure. Do you have any new shows that you want to talk about or anything coming up this year in 2026? Any dates, show dates, or anything you want to talk about as far as that goes? Well, we've got a moment here to chit chat about all the exciting things we have coming. So we've got new music this year. Sometime it's going to play out how it plays out. And then anything as far as dates or exciting shows you're looking forward to?
Yes, definitely. I'll be announcing a lot more in the next 2 months for the summer and everything like that. But I got some fun ones coming up. I'm going to in April. I'm going down to St. Augustine, and I'll be at Sarbez.
Ooh, that'll be
And
fun.
I'm sticking in town to go see my good friends Jordan Foley and Nathan Evans Fox and Kyle Keller the next day. But the April 9th, I'll be there. April 30th, I'll be here in Greenville, opening for Jason Eady. I think that'll be a great show. And then on the 1st of May, I will be at a newer listening room in Honeypath, South Carolina, called the Fiddle and Bow. And that'll be our debut in Honeypath. I think it's going to be a good time. So, y'all come on out.
I love it. I love it. You're gonna be. That sounds busy and awesome. Florida, back to that sounds great, especially after this harsh winter. I don't know if you've been feeling it over there in your neck of the woods, but
We have,
I feel like this has been a
yeah,
hard winter.
yeah, it's been intense. But yeah, tomorrow is 70 here.
Maybe that groundhog was incorrect. May we have a hopeful.
Maybe, but South Carolina's like that though. You'll have shorts on Christmas, and then you'll have 4 inches of snow in January. So you never know.
I'm ready for festival season. That's my favorite. I love to just see going to festivals anywhere that you can just vibe. I like all that stuff. I'm looking forward to it. It's like the one thing that we can't really do in the winter.
Right.
There's all kinds of ticketed shows. There's tons of great music to follow. Festivals are unfortunately off the list until about from like May to October. You can see that.
Yeah.
See some festivals. That's about it. So I'm itching. It's only February, but I am ready.
It'll be here before you know it.
I know. I've seen Brett out at some festivals. Our mutual friend, Mr. Brett Hill, that got us introduced. I've been acting up at some of these festivals we've seen each other at out in the world. Well, I'm pretty excited. We've got new music. We've got some great shows coming up this spring. You can catch our boy at. And then, do you have anything? I always like to just give a moment. Sometimes, if you have anything that you'd like to share with folks that have been following your journey, is there anything that stands out of just things you want to share, or any just remarkable stories or anything that was important to you along the way that you just feel like could use a little spotlight, because here we've got a little spotlight here. If you think about your 10 years plus, over 10 years in the music industry, is there anything that has kind of stuck with you along the way, or you wish maybe there was more of, or a moment or something that stands out to you, or something you want to leave with folks that might be listening or tuning in that love Americana music and are drawn to that genre and music in general?
I think it's. I look back on things. I think it's extremely important to be honest with people, but be encouraging. I think back when I first started, and some of the people that I've kind of become friends with now, but they were honest with me, but encouraging, and like that just helped me go on and figure out things. And just people that have been doing it for way longer than I have, but were willing to give the time to just tell me, hey, I like this part. You can work on this. Keep it up. Um, I've kind of have like my music parents, and then I've started with and everything like Stoney and Leslie Cannon. They've done a lot for the Augusta scene, and now they've just done a lot for the CSRA. Somebody that I grew up with, Kenny George. He was a great Americana country artist, based out of my hometown of Aiken, South Carolina, and travels around a lot. He was very good to me. I think, it's just, it's important to do what you can for the next generation all around, not just in music. I think one of the problems that we have in our society is we don't focus on the children as much and focus on young adults, and I think that just lift each other up. That's the biggest thing. And that's made me a better person. And I think it make everyone a better person if you just lift each other up, especially in your local scenes.
Yeah, I think super, super, super well said. Yeah, I think it's interesting that that's the, that was about to be my next question is just if you have any, um, just like anything that you hope to kind of continue on in your next 10 years in the music industry. And it sounds like you are pretty well rooted in that stewardship. And I think I would just echo that sentiment is just kind of what we started out talking about in the beginning is it's just community is
Mm-hmm.
so important and it's so, it really is the lifeblood of everything that can come up behind you too. And, yeah, just being that person yourself and not waiting for someone else to be the person to help someone else out. And especially in a music community, because I know I can't even I couldn't even tell you how many times another musician has helped me. It's countless. It's borrowed a mic stand, borrowed a guitar, explained
Absolutely.
something, shared how they were doing something, explained, cables or technology, audio stuff. It's just relentless learning. It's relentless falling on your face too. And there's nothing more empowering than when a fellow musician can look at you and say, "You're doing great. I struggled with this too," or "Here's what I learned. Not for nothing. Here's some of this that might help you," or "You should meet
Right.
so so." It is us that has to do that. We are the who. You can't just leave it for other people around you. Look around like I don't know.
Right.
If you can't name a bunch of people in your community in your music community, you're probably falling behind.
Right.
Yeah.
I think for me, I mean, that is something that I've always wanted to do is kind of be a conduit for everyone around me. And I think that's just going to make me a better person, a better artist, better musician, just better steward of the earth because of
Yeah.
that. I think um, holding, also just holding your community accountable is important. I think um, with that in the music industry, I want to still just be able to enjoy it. And part of that is being able to raise up a community and also just write and play out and get back into why I wanted to do it in the first place, which is to speak my truth. And I'm kind
Yeah.
of getting back into that now. And I'm it's been great, you know. Like might seem a little more boring because I'm kind of keeping things tied up a little bit closer, but um, I'm getting back into what I actually wanted to do it for, which was for the
Yeah.
music. for the community in the first place.
Yeah, well, it sounds like South Carolina and the greater area is lucky to have someone like you, and it sounds like the people already around you are already like that as well. So, sounds like you guys have a great community down there, and you're living that truth. And yeah, I'm super glad that we connected. I feel like it got a little deep in here with that part, but it's really the root of it. Really is the root of the music industry. You can certainly be kind of selfish, and that is a choice. You can do that. It's a route. You can yeah, that will work. But it
It will for certain people, for sure.
but where the root of it is just that humanity that we all have and looking out for each other and empowering each other.
Right.
Yeah, it's really really important. Have you ever gotten to that point where, because I can think of kind of snowballing off this conversation, there's been a few times where I was like, dude, screw this. If this is what making music is, I don't want it, or if this is what I have to deal with, or if this is how people are going to be. And every time that it's happened, I've learned so quick that was one experience, one person, one negative thing to hundreds. It's always drowned out quickly by great things in the music industry. But have you gotten there yourself where you're like, you know what, we're good, we're done here, we're good with it? And then what kind of brought you back, if that's the case? What kind of anything that brings you back to, like you said, your why, or your the reason you got into it to begin with?
I think, I mean, for me, like years ago, I kind of just like me and the wife, we kind of just had like a separation of friends, like growing apart, and
Yeah.
some things would happen and everything, and it was all people in the music industry, and it kind of just made me like rethink why I was doing a lot of stuff. And there's been moments about that a lot in the past, because there's always going to be people that screw you over. That's just going to happen. Um, the beauty of it now, where I'm at, and everything, is that I have my people now.
Yeah.
And also, um, I had a real problem with letting people just kind of take advantage of me when it came to like helping them set up shows or do whatever and everything, and then just kind of use me up. Which my wife has been, she's better at sniffing out a lot of that stuff than I
Yeah.
am. Just she's a smart cookie, but I think, um, I think for me now, it's more of, if somebody wants to be that way, that's fine. It's just be, I'm gonna mess with you, and um, just kind of cutting down on drama, like especially being being the partner of a musician. I'm sure, but uh, she's a musician too, but she doesn't play out as much, and a lot of that is because of just dealing with people and dealing with the
That's
issues
so
that are there.
relatable. I know
Yeah.
there's so many musicians that just don't want to people. And so they don't. I'm sure there's so many folks that just are musicians in their own world and don't really share it, and that's a shame, but I'm glad that
I
you are.
mean, and I understand it either way, but I mean, for me now, it's more of I don't like, I'm not climbing super far or anything, and that's okay. If that means that I can have my little routes, my little nest egg with meeting with people that I've met and built relationships with, and that's that's kind of just how it goes. And now there's going to be some shit birds here and there. That's just going to happen. But
Yep.
you know, um, you just got to keep living life of uh, building relationships, not connections. I feel like that's the
Mhm.
biggest thing.
Yeah, I think there's kind of been that theme of somehow we stuck around this theme of
Yeah.
uh yeah, it really is just like such an important podcast. I feel like, it's It's a lot of just community, dealing with other people, dealing with yourself, pushing forward, um, and being true to yourself, and then putting the work in, and kind of after whatever happens out of that, is going to be good. If
Absolutely.
you put so much good into something, inevitably the good is that's what you've built, something good. And yeah, I'm really thankful. I know that you've got great people around you, because that's how we got connected. That's the beauty of
Absolutely.
it, is just great people are going to another great example of someone looking out for the community. Brett Hill, he's
Hmm.
first one to throw someone's name in and say, hey, this would be a great connect, or we would love, you guys would be great to work together. And he's done that in the past for me, and vice versa. So if you got people like that in your corner, you got me in your corner now too. I'm super glad that we got to meet and do this.
Glad to meet you too,
Even
Steph.
from afar. See, this is the little piece of the internet and technology we would like to keep,
Exactly. It's a
keep
good.
us all
It is a good
connected.
thing, there's good in it. There's a little good in everything.
I know, ain't that the truth? But
Yeah.
well, aside, do you have any other like kind of last minute messages or things you want to talk about, or any other dates or songs, especially that you want to mention before we ask our last traditional question here at the Texas to Tennessee podcast?
Yes. Just again, my name is Vilai Harrington. VILAIHARRINGTON. Um, Please listen to my latest album, Vanfire. I'm very proud of it, and I think you'll like it too, especially if you like this kind of music. Um, and seeing kind of just how we do things a little bit here in South Carolina, and especially in the Sandhills where I grew up, and a little bit here in Greenville. Um, be nice to the people around you. Um, hold hold each other accountable, and lift each other up. Rising tides raise all ships.
Amen. Beautiful message. You heard it here. You heard it here first from Vilai. He is on his way making more music for everybody. But not to worry while you wait. There is an extensive catalog of his music that can be found on all the streaming platforms. He's on all social media. So you can find our boy all over the place. And very soon in April down in Florida and back in South Carolina. So catch some good shows. Let's stay tuned for fresh music. Make sure you're giving a follow. Thanks again so much for being here. Appreciate your time.
Yeah,
I know it's super valuable, and I really appreciate everything you've brought to our podcast, and to be a part of the Texas to Tennessee family has been really nice. So thank you again. I do appreciate everything you're bringing forward, and especially now getting to know you a little bit. It sounds like thanks by proxy for doing everything in South Carolina. What's good for, right? Like you said, rising tides, and what's good for the goose is good for the gander. So it's great to know that
absolutely.
there's a good community going on over there in the southeast. So thanks for representing for that part of town.
Glad
But
to do it.
well, with all that, I want to ask you the last traditional question, kind of another just little icebreaker that is a tradition at the Texas to Tennessee podcast. So, of all of the Little Debbie snacks in the world, if you were stuck on tour with only one of them, which one would you be taking with you?
Ooh, see, there's two that come to mind. Well, really three. But I have to say, because I haven't had them in a long time, and me and a buddy were talking about them, but I think I could really take down some Star Crunch.
Classic. I
Yeah.
remember I remember those ones. I feel like they could get smashed in your backpack and still be the exact same.
Oh, it's still that rice. The rice in the middle will still be good. So yeah, that puff rice. Yeah, I haven't
Yeah.
had one of those in forever. I had to top myself out of getting one from the gas station earlier. So
Well, here we are. It was a missed opportunity.
yeah, exactly.
Missed, what is that called when you like missed meeting or whatever? What's that called? Missed connection, missed connection. Am I saying that
Misconnection.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Could have been you and Star Crunch on this podcast tonight.
yeah, exactly.
Well, thanks again so much. Make sure you guys are checking out Vilai and all of the amazing music that they're putting out. So, if you have all the social media platforms, follow them. Make sure you're following the Texas to Tennessee podcast. My name is Steph, and it's been a true pleasure to spend this time with you tonight. So cheers, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We will see you
Bye,
all
Al. Thank you.
soon.